Hey y'all, I'm back. What's my name? My name is Andrea. As you all well know, I'm your hostess with the hostess. This is my really great friend and an amazing person, Marvin. And I'm gonna just pass it on to him. And if he misses anything on the credentials, I'm going to call it out. So give us all the shit. Tell everybody what you about, what you do. You know, just all the things. Give us all the things.
Yeah. So as Andrea said, my name is Marvin Toliver. I am a licensed clinical social worker here in Philadelphia, sending all the love, strength, and solidarity to the Lenni Lenape tribe whose stolen land that we're currently residing in. What do I do? I am a therapist at the Radical Therapy Center. I am co-founder of Melanated Social Work. We're a collective of 4 male social workers of color looking to change the stigma around mental health in Black and Brown communities, looking to change how therapy is actually practiced and kind of moving away from, the quote unquote traditional style and more of a progressive style. And then also fighting to dismantle systems that are rooted in white supremacy. Um, I'm a radical educator. I am a consultant. I am a guest lecturer. I am I'm a fucking vibe.
You better work.
Yeah, and I use he and they pronouns, proudly bisexual out here. Happy Pride, by the way.
Happy Pride, y'all. Well, thank you. That was a very robust intro for yourself, and I'm so proud. That was just that. If you're only listening, I had the biggest smile on my damn face the entire damn time while he was talking about himself. So, but again, thank you for showing up per use. We also kind of still
We kind of have a podcast.
Listen, COVID beat our ass. Like, it beat our ass for real.
COVID said, "Hey, girl, you thought you had plans."
I don't care about that.
That's
I don't care about the plans. I don't care about the plans. So today we're going to talk about dating, but this just came to me just briefly, and I want to touch on this a little bit, just like thinking about the work that we both do and how important community is.
Mm-hmm.
We have found so much in each other. We met in middle school.
Yeah.
And then we just been cool ever since. And then we I say separated. It's so weird, but like, you really are my friend. So like, I'll be like, we separated for a little while and we got back together.
Like you say, life be lifing.
Life be lifing.
And that's really
we call each other, and sometimes like we stopped talking for a minute. You were like heavy into getting your license, and I remember talking to you when you were in Florida. I remember talking to you when you were in Boston, but it was just like these pockets of time.
Right.
And I never felt like we lost our connection. I just life be lifing. So we'd be talking on the phone for hours, like, okay, so now what happened? Okay, so now catch me up. Because the last time I talked to you, this is what was going on. So
up on the past 2 years.
I mean, that's kind of what happened last year, because we hadn't talked in probably 5-6 years that time.
Yep. And I think we were on the phone for a good 5-6 hours. So.
Yeah, and several times though, like hella caught up. So it was really great. And so I just want to reiterate to you guys, like, diversity, equity, and inclusion is so important, and we talk about it in all the things, right? Mm-hmm. It's also important to have diverse ideas, thoughts, people around you. Mm-hmm. Like Marvin just said, he's a Black man that's a therapist, also identifies as queer, which isn't necessarily opposite of me, but a different experience. Mm-hmm. But we're still friends, and we find ways to like connect with each other, talk shit. And our favorite pastime is talking about dating.
Yeah.
We are going to keep it as general as possible. That's what I say. We'll try to keep it. I would never say anyone's names, but I think it is important to kind of talk about it, especially in a post-COVID world. I know for me, how I was dating, even last year I was dating. Mm-hmm. how I was dating before has fundamentally changed now. And I think that had to do more with my own work, my own personal work.
Mm-hmm.
And I will be talking about my journey out loud next week on someone else's live. So I'm
Ooh.
like, it's important. Marvin's a huge part of that journey. So I cannot wait to share. I've been really hesitant. So, but that's for another podcast.
Right now. Come on,
But,
vulnerable.
but so dating, like,
Yeah.
I, I know it's difficult for me. How is it for you?
Well, here's the thing. No. No,
How much time you got?
so, you know, identifying as bisexual, it opens up, I think, a lot more opportunity. But I also think that people view folks that identify as bisexual as either confused or really gay, but just is too afraid to say
What
it.
they, what's the term they used to say? Buy now, gay later.
Oh, I've never heard that. I
You're
mean,
welcome.
which is true for some folks, like, and that's their experience and that's their journey. But I think that you know that minimizes the experience of like truly like bisexual folks. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and so I have run into women who I was dating someone and she, I guess, had a past of like her parents or her dad cheating on her mom. And so when I told her that I was bisexual, she was just like, "Oh, actually, I'm not comfortable because I saw my dad cheat on my mom so many
Mm.
times." Like
Oof.
basically saying that because I'm bisexual, there are more options. More options means I'm
Yikes.
more likely to cheat on her, right? And
Mm.
we know that like if you're a cheater, you're just a cheater.
You're just gonna cheat. Doesn't matter if you're. Doesn't matter what it is. Actually.
Also, like we clearly see heterosexual men cheating and cheating and cheating and cheating and cheating and cheating, and like women still go back to them. So I mean, I don't. I'm never gonna speak ill of women who think that way
Mm.
because like that's
Well,
your
I will.
experience.
So go ahead. Just let me know when it's my turn.
That's your experience. That's your perspective. It sucks. Like I'm sorry like you have that perspective, but there's something that happened in your life to shape your experience that way, and
Hmm. Yeah, it's not
I
on
can't
you.
do anything to change that. And so
Yeah.
like if you're not comfortable, then you're not comfortable.
Hmm.
Um, Also, there are men who do struggle with their sexuality and are fully cheating on their women with other men too. And so like that's also real.
Yeah.
And a lot of men don't communicate. A lot of men are very good at lying, right? And so like I also understand that that is an experience and that's a concern that some women have, right? And
Yeah.
so like I understand that.
Yeah.
I'm not that way, but like that's me being like kind of an outlier among a lot of trash ass dudes, right?
Word.
Um, and so although the reasoning is rooted in kind of stereotypes, I still understand it. I'm not gonna like badmouth anybody, but that
Yeah.
does make it a bit more difficult. Um,
Hmm.
and then kind of with dating men, so with men, it's more a lot of the times it's more sexual. Like it's more
Yeah.
just like physical, and then maybe we can be friends later, or like unless
Yeah.
we're very intentional about like, hey, I'm looking to date. A lot of the times, I'm not gonna say all the time, but like a lot of
Hmm.
the time, it's physical first. Um,
Yeah.
and so just being really intentional around what I want because shit, sometimes maybe I do want a physical, hookup,
Hmm.
and that's what
I
I
mean,
want.
you grown. We all grown.
Right? We grown. But as I get older, I'm more leaning into like, okay, what would like an actual relationship look like?
Mm-hmm.
What internalized homophobia that I'm still dealing with?
Oof.
Am I needing to unlearn, right? And really unpack. And so therapy has been incredibly helpful with my whole with figuring out who I am, and then now getting into the dating world, recognizing what I want and what I need, and making sure that those needs are met, but also making sure that I'm compatible with another individual too.
Yeah. I think that's a huge piece. I think that's probably part of my discovery too, was compatibility.
Mm-hmm.
And I love a good time. Like, I'm one of those people, I will go above and beyond to like have fun. And I don't mean just wilding out craziness. I just mean like I love fun. And that is one of my things that I look for in a partner. Like, you got to be fun. Like, you can't,
Right.
everything can't be taken seriously.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and yeah, so thank you for sharing your piece. That is super insightful. I do want to say, for women that do come across bisexual men, if you're uncomfortable, I understand. But the language, the words we choose to use, still incites violence. And so we need to be really cognizant of, really, and do a self evaluation. Why do you care so much? Because bisexuality is not polyamory.
Mm-hmm.
It's not mutually exclusive.
Mm-hmm.
And so when someone is bisexual, at least from my understanding, and please correct me, is if I'm with you, I'm with you, or if I'm with someone else, I'm with someone else, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, of course, that person can cheat, but it's not about having the freedom to go back and forth. It is just, I'm attracted to these two people,
Yep.
but I prefer monogamy, right? Just the same thing as a straight person preferring monogamy versus polyamory doesn't make them bisexual. It's polyamory. So,
Yep.
just to be clear. So, with that information, I would implore us all to really be reflective about what that means,
Mm-hmm.
and take off their heteronormative lens of relationship.
Yeah.
Because I've been really, especially now, like doing more birth work and working more with the community and like our health and wellness and how we see things, and starting with our mind, we're so hell bent on like everything needs to have a heteronormative lens. And there's this
Mm-hmm.
book called How We Show Up. And it talks about like your partner can't be everything to you.
Mm-hmm.
They can't be your best friend. They also can't be your therapist. They also can't be, your chef and also work every day. Like, you got to take those hats off of people and really find out what it is that you really, really want in a relationship. So that
Mm-hmm.
brings me to my dating experiences. I just recently decided to start dating. And
Can I actually, before you get
please,
to it, I just want to add that heteronormativity is rooted in white supremacy,
woof, there
right?
we go.
Because indigenous folks had folks that were two spirit and had relationships that were non-monogamous, right? And so like
And
this
matriarchal societies on top of that.
right, African nations as well. And so it wasn't until colonization that we really had these super firm boundaries around sex and sexuality and identity.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, and for folks that know colonization, like either you accept what the white man said or you die,
Pretty
right?
much.
And so like this is what happened. And so this is where this
Mm-hmm.
mindset is rooted in. And so
Mm-hmm.
if we really want to get back to our indigenous cultures, our African nations in which like our ancestors really lived, we need to really unlearn a lot of the bullshit that like whiteness
Yeah.
has taught us. Anyway,
Yeah.
try to cut you off.
Yeah. No, no worries. And going back to unlearning some bullshit, that's what I had to do.
Mm,
I was also doing personal work. I've been in therapy forever. Um, but you go in waves. It's not always constant. Sometimes you grow out of your therapist or whatever. And I've had amazing therapists. Wow, Andrea. I've had an amazing therapist. I've had amazing coaches. And so each time I'm learning something new, and it's more tools in the repertoire.
yeah.
And this time around with dating, it was just like someone from, I'm not huge on Twitter literally. I mean, I love Twitter. So a lot of the people that I follow, I've seen them get married, I've seen them have
Mm,
kids, I've seen them get divorced. Like, we've all, like, I'm a virtual auntie to like hella kids, right?
mm,
And one of my girls from Twitter was just like, I was like, ugh, I'm kind of scared about dating. I think I even told you, I'm like, I don't know, man. I don't know if I can get I don't know, man, if I
yeah,
can get back out there. And she
yeah.
was like, well, what is it that you want? And it was just like, you know what? I don't know.
Mm,
Not for real. Cause like and she said, like, in a real way, not just he's got to be funny, he's got to be financially stable, right? That's a given for you. But like, what do you really want?
mhm,
And what do you not really like? And that's one of the things that I've learned is, in hindsight, of course, we can always blame our partners, which
Mm-hmm.
a lot of times they bear the brunt of a lot of shit. But for me and my spaces, I was tolerating a lot of shit that I don't even really like.
Mm.
Right? Like, not communicating. So now I'm like your therapist and getting you to start talking and putting words in your mouth, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or entertaining passive aggressive shit. Like,
Mm.
oh, well, your background sounds busy, or you sound busy. Well, you called me, I picked up the phone. So was I busy or right? So now what I do in those spaces, I just let the silence rock because I want you to see how stupid you sound.
Mm.
Right? And on top of that, that leads to gaslighting later. So
Mm-hmm.
it's like, I didn't say that. That's what you said I said.
Mm-hmm.
That was how you interpreted it.
Mm-hmm.
No, you asked me a roundabout question, or you're inquiring about something and expecting a response to an invisible question. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't like it. I also get really nervous when people immediately start asking me where I'm at. Why? Like, first of all, niggas kill women,
Mm.
especially while dating. You don't need to know my whereabouts. You're going to have to just trust that I will respond to you when I get ready. I
Right.
also run 2 whole ass businesses and have a podcast, and I'm getting ready to do a reoccurring segment somewhere else. Like,
Mm-hmm.
my time is not that it's limited. It's not that. It's I run a tight ship. I have to in
Yeah.
order for me to be successful and support the people that I'm, the why I'm doing the work, right? And one of the things that came out of a lot of this, I did a lot more deeper work this year, was finding my why. My
Mm.
why is not connected to people, places, or things. It is literally the impact that I want to have. And
Mm-hmm.
everything has to funnel through there. I can't date someone that can't be out and be cognizant. I can't be with you if you don't understand this work.
Yep.
Right? That means it don't even have to be drama. Going back to what you said, are we a good match?
Mm-hmm.
No.
Mm-hmm.
I was talking to someone, he was telling me like real surf, like how you first date, real surface or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And so asking me about my mom and my life. And I was like, yeah, my mom passed away. And I need to probably repost that podcast on this podcast so people know that about me. We're not going to go into it today. But then hearing his story, and he's like, yeah, but it's whatever. I'm numb to it. And I was like, oh, fuck. Nope. I
Mm-hmm.
just can't date you. I said, do you know how horrible that is for a parent to do that to their kid? I
Yeah.
said, think about you doing that to your kid and you're numb to it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's whatever, and it's like, but that's a common story for especially Black men. It's a
Mm-hmm.
common story,
Yep.
and I'm not judging. I'm not blaming. I'm saying that where I am in my own mental health and how I see the world has changed so much. And
Mm-hmm.
it's because I choose to keep that, because we're not broken. We just need to be given the space to evolve.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes we get stuck because we don't know anything else, or it feels dangerous. It feels dangerous to unpack that shit. I fucking get it.
Yeah.
But I can't be with you. I
Yep.
can't even entertain. Like, we might have a good time. I'm a good friend. So we can go out and kick it, but that's all it'll ever be. And
Yeah.
it doesn't have to be drama because we're not together. Like,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I can still say, and if it's too much for you, I get that too. But
Yeah.
I'm not like that. And then another huge piece too is like, I want to, I am, I move how I want to move. When I want to go on vacation, I don't care if it's a day out. That's what I'm going to do.
Mm-hmm.
If I want to go visit you, Marvin, I just told you last week, I'm like, so I'm about to buy tickets and just come see you. So whatever. And you're like, oh yeah, just come. Like, you know that about me, right? And so anyone else needs to know that. Like, when you date me, you may not work from home like I do. You may not have the flexibility like I do. So what? When I'm ready to do something, I want to be able to do that. Doesn't mean I'm excluding you, but I have a life outside of you as well as our life together.
Yeah.
And that's another huge piece. And like, I was talking to someone else, and the person used the word control. I asked, something that came up, and I was just like, you have control issues? Well, I'm very specific, blah, 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 that perfectionist syndrome.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, yeah, I'm really controlling. It's just kind of the natural leader in me. And I said, well, you can keep that controlling shit at your house when you're around me.
Mm.
You would like my type of control, was their response. And I said, you know what's funny is when
Oof.
men try to tell
Oof.
other women what they would like after I explicitly told you I don't.
Yeah.
And it's that, like, control is you wanting, you don't trust, that's your trust issues talking.
Mm-hmm.
And most of the time, what I have found in that space too is when you feel, even men or women, this is not male specific. I really mean this in a real way. Even what I'm talking about, I think is important for any of us dating. I don't care where you are on the spectrum, right? Me and Marvin don't believe people are straight. We just believe you're queer until you tell us that you figure out that you're straight.
Yeah.
So wherever you are on the spectrum, like, these are things you should be thinking about. Like, how does this person fit in your life? Because you could have bomb sex, you could have a lot of money, you could have all those tangible things, but if you do not fit in my life, I have to be okay with saying, okay, we're not a match.
Yeah.
And ever since I started dating with that lens, like, time is number one for me. Like, you got to respect my time.
Yeah.
You got to be able to talk and communicate, and you got to be able to get this work that I do. You have to. You don't have to do it. You just have to understand it.
Yeah.
And if not, we got to part ways. And it's no hard feelings. It's just we're just never going to be, we can't be together intimately. And that's for me, because my partners are, to me, I view them as close. I want my partner to be as close to me as my friends are.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you're not going to be my friend, but I want to hold you to the same standard. Because if my friend treated me the same way a lot of these niggas have, I'll be fighting my friend on the front lawn. And I'm determined to hold that same stand, not literal hands, but I mean, like, holding the same, like, slow hellos and quick goodbyes.
Yeah.
And that's not shade, and I'm not damaged, and like, no, I want to date. I want to have a good time. And people that want to fuck with you will fuck with you. You don't have to go chasing them around.
Yeah. I think you speak to something that's super important, that I had to kind of overcome, that I actually just spoke with a client with this morning. And it's about, when you're dating, you're centering yourself and your wants and your needs first, right? I think a lot of people try to find someone to make them happy.
Guilty.
So, like, I'm going to look for this person. This person is now going to make me happy. Rather than being happy with yourself first and then just looking for somebody to compliment you. Right. And so my issue was that, like, I was just like, okay, I'm going to be with this person. They're going to make me happy.
And it's fine. We could talk about it. We could do all the things. And it's like, it's not where they are.
And like the people pleaser in me was very much like, oh, I'm gonna do everything that you want. Even I'm gonna put my wants and needs on the back burner because I want you to be happy. Right. But then I was mad when she wasn't putting my wants and needs. I was like, I'm doing all of these things for you. Like, how come you're not doing anything for me? And then it was because that's the norm that I set up. Like, that's what I thought that I wanted. Additionally, we were two people, I don't say very traumatized, but dealing with the effects of past trauma. And so I put this in a post: trauma plus trauma does not equal love. It does not.
It's actually chaos. That's what that equals.
Absolute chaos. And so basically there was a cycle. I mean, we had several issues, but there was this cycle that, like, I would do something that, upset her in some way. She would yell.
Just push the thing down. Pour it up.
She would yell, raise her voice. Sometimes she would call me out of my name. And I just kind of went, I was silent. So I was quiet because that was my response to when people yell. When people yell, I close down. I don't say much. Which then, because she wanted me to communicate, made her more upset. And so, like, then this cycle kind of kept continuing, right?
Yeah.
So I feel like I'm not safe to say anything. I already don't like to communicate. At that time, wasn't open to communicating. So now you're yelling and saying, communicate. And I'm just like, trauma response. I can't do it.
The shutdown. Yeah.
Right. And then kind of internalize, okay, well, she's yelling at me because she doesn't respect me. She doesn't love me. There must be something wrong with me. Right. So looking internally. So at the same damn time, resenting her for treating me like that, but then also looking inward and saying, oh, I must not be shit because why? And as a man, internally thinking those things, it's not safe enough to tell anybody that, because that is not the definition of a man, right? That's not what men do. So then I also didn't feel safe enough to say, hey, this is going on. What should I do? I just said, oh no, everything's fine. She just, sometimes she gets mad sometimes, but we talk it out. We work it out.
Been there though. Like I turn my face up now, but been fucking there.
Yeah. But in reality, toxic ass relationship. And so again, it took some therapy. So if you have some shit with you, go to therapy. There's nothing wrong with you. You're not crazy. Therapy is fucking fantastic. I love it every week I go. But it really had to, we really had to unpack, okay, why are you afraid of speaking up? Why are you a people pleaser? Why do you feel like you're not good enough and that you're not worthy? Right? And so really having those conversations that I've always tried to, weasel away from. So,
I love that word, weasel out of, because it's literally it. It's not even avoiding. It's just because you can't avoid it. You can only weasel out of it.
Yeah. And this therapist was like, so we gonna talk about this or no? And I was just like, all right, I see you. I guess we have to go, because I am the king of the pivot, by the way. I'm the king of the pivot. So somebody try to make it toward me, I like to pivot. Oh, how about those Raiders though? Would you see that? It's hot outside, ain't it? Like just all the things to get the attention off of me.
Yeah, of course.
But in therapy, they're like, oh no, that's cute. So about this, this enoughness, let's talk about that. It's like, damn, okay, well, I see that you are not falling for my shit, so I guess.
I want to introduce this concept too. I interviewed someone else, and she's hers will come out before ours, but she was talking about how she's also a therapist. Oh, we connected because of your post about me in some therapist thing, and so we connected. And she's doing. We did our podcast, and then when her season's back, I'm going to do hers.
Nice.
But I also, but we were having this conversation, and the concept of what therapy is for one person is not the same for the other. And it really does depend on where you are. And when we talk about therapy, we are talking from a privileged space, whether it's socioeconomics, whether it's education or knowledge of something, or your proximity to the information, right? And she was saying, talking about what she does is connect people to the type of therapy that they need. So some people like group therapy. Some people like individualized therapy. Some people rather find the information and kind of have an accountability buddy, right? Or go, what did she say? She just gave a whole bunch of ways that people can be reflective or get and my favorite way to, and I don't know if we discussed this, but I was just thinking this, going back to village again, right? Changing the people you're around and exploring other circles of people. And that can be hard for us because, especially if you're already in a place of not trusting the world around you, no matter what, it is trusting. When you do that, it's not about the other people. You can sneeze, it's fine.
I'm like,
about to die? You want me to mute you? Okay. There's a mute button if you need to.
I was looking for
but really exploring yourself more.
Yeah.
And there is some, there's some therapy, self-care in that. Because once you start to expand your mind, like Marvin and I have had conversations where something will happen and then I'll come back and we'll talk. And I've had this revelation about my own self by being quiet enough or expanding my mind enough, however that is, whether it's listening to podcasts. That works a lot, y'all. I'm telling you, finding the right pod. And just even if you listen to one episode and something that just sticks out to you, you be like, oh, okay, right? That could be your thing. But what I implore you to do is really start thinking about why you think the way you think. What's your why, right? Why am I dating? That's that was a huge question. Like I'm going back to what my homegirl, I was like, what is it that you really want though? And here's the thing too, there's not too much a nigga can do for me. So I'm not looking for a caretaker. Not saying that I don't need a man. I'm not saying that. Or a partner. I would love a partner in my life. I would love that. That would be so much fun to me.
Mm-hmm.
But I also find that partnership in my friends. I
Mm.
find that everywhere I go. And anyone that has seen me out anywhere, it doesn't matter where I'm at. And I go a lot of places by myself. People are just drawn to me.
Mm-hmm.
And that's okay, right? And so I find solid, and I'm an extrovert. So I need that. I need that.
Yeah.
Like, I need human interaction, right? And so when I say drawn to me, I mean, I put that out into the world because I want to know you, I want to see you, I want to speak to you. Even if we never speak again, that's who I am.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think for me, I was looking for that level of intensity from a person, and it's not fucking possible. It's not possible. No, you can't give me that. Not one person could give me that. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But that feeling that I feel when I meet new people or am out and all that, I had to find solace in me knowing that that's my thing. And one of my ex-fiance, one thing he said, Drea, you don't always got to show up early and close it out. Like, you don't have to. Why do you expand yourself in that way? Like, what is up? And then he would be like, all right, well, we're going to get here at this time. I'm going to be out about this time. Was very clear about his level of energy to put out into the world. And I think that's a really great example, for me at least, of how I can be. We can ask too much of people, but more importantly is really finding out what really matters to you. Like, I don't need a caretaker. So if you want to come date me, I'm gonna need you to at least match me, fam. That's it. Yeah. I go on vacations regularly, and I don't even call them vacations. I just be moving because when I go, I'm still working.
Listen,
like, I'm not working. I'm still fucking working.
I thought you was in California. You was in Hawaii. I said, wait a goddamn minute.
For real. And then as soon as I got back, right before Hawaii, I went to Palm Springs. Then I went to where did I go? I don't know. And then I'm back and forth between the Bay because my son, like, it's just, that's who I am. And that's where I'm at, or at least that's where I'm at now. And you need to be okay with that.
Yeah.
But that's what I need. That has nothing to do with somebody else. So either I don't expect anyone to be able to move as much as I do. That's not what I'm expecting. I also not partial to people with kids under the age of 12. My son is 14, 15 years old. I did my parenting already.
Yeah.
So for me, it's no shade. Now, there may be an exception.
Yeah.
But I'm for sure not dating nobody with kids under 5. Hell no. Like, for me, I'm not shading anyone that does. But for me in my house, absolutely not.
Not what you want.
You know, evil 5-year-olds they're freaking evil. And then middle school kids are worse. Like, you think high school kids are bad? Middle school kids. Like,
come on. You know the person I'm talking to got 2 kids.
Oh, yeah. But I don't mean that, though. If you can do it, I don't want to do it. I'm like getting to the point now where I'm feeling like I don't want any kids.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think another piece of it is that, like, once you potentially do find this person that, like, you seem compatible with or you seem to connect with, what does compromise look like?
I'm not there yet. Can't even think about it.
As you have your wants and needs, they also have their own set of wants and needs. Is all of that gonna work?
Yeah.
Are we flexible enough to say, you know what, I see your need, I can meet that need, or I can adjust a bit? Or is it like, you know what, this is the way I want it. If you don't fuck with it, then get out. Right? Because I think, and I see this a lot in couples therapy, and I always name it. I'm just like, you know what? It's lovely that you won this argument, but, like, y'all are a unit. Y'all are a
word.
Team. And so, are you all teammates right now? Because if y'all were on a sports team right now, it don't matter who won the argument. Together you win, or together you lose.
Word.
And right now you here because y'all been losing for a while.
So you about to really lose. You about to lose the championship.
So let's call it what it is, because y'all could be an unstoppable power couple, winning trophies and championships, for the rest of your lives.
Yeah.
But you got to let go of some of that selfishness.
Yeah.
Like, let go of some of this like, it has to be my way. It's like, nah, Y'all are a team. It's two people now. If it has to be your way, then stay single.
Stay out my business. You're too loud. Stay out my damn business. You're too loud.
But these are and this is why it took me so long to kind of get back into the dating game, because I did not know who the fuck I was.
Not for real.
I didn't know who I was. I didn't know what my wants were, what my needs were. I was worried about getting with somebody so they can make me feel good. Right? That was at the root of it all. That's what I wanted. And then when going through therapy, talking to friends, it's just like, oh shit, like I need to figure out what it is that I want. My dad, my father, Michael friggin' Toliver, for so long, he used to say, you got to figure out what Marvin wants. And I was just, not even listening, I'm like, all right, yeah, okay, Dad, another damn, I'll pack it in with the rest. And now it's just like, damn, he's right. I need to figure out what I want, because it does not matter about what other people want. It matters about me, my wants, my needs.
Yeah, I think, we make it seem easy, but it's not easy.
It's not.
And here's the thing: even when you get someone, you still are going to be evolving. Yep. So can that person handle? Can you handle that? Right? I mean, even if the person stayed the same, life really be lifing.
Oh yeah.
So I could have a baby. This happened to my mom. She had my brother. Had my brother, Bell's palsy. Her whole left side. Or whole right side. This is my left, right? Left side. So that meant she couldn't pick my brother up often. She's trying to get her face back together. And my dad just happens to be a really, really supportive partner in that way. But if she didn't have it, I don't know that she would have gotten better. I don't know if she would have fell into postpartum depression. There's just some shit, or we get in a car accident and one of us loses a leg. Now our lives have changed forever, right? Yep. Or one of us wins the lotto. We splitting up, or that's a big. It happens so much. I was looking at this randomly. I have so many random facts, but I was looking at the statistics of people that get divorced when they win big amounts of money. It's ridiculous, because what people fail to realize is exactly what you said. What do I want? And a lot of it for us, whether it's our careers, whether it's money, whether it's the cars, the clothes. There's a song coming, but I'm not going to do it.
I'm so
black.
I just want to be. I know. I want the money.
So black. Stop, Marvin, please. You know I'm gonna bow it out. And really thinking about who am I without that stuff?
Yep.
And taking because I tell my clients this: who are you without the work or the job? Because the job doesn't make you. Is the work important to you? Do you like what you do?
Yep.
I'm not telling you to quit your job, but if you're working here because you just want the company's approval, you'll never get it. You'll be chasing your fucking wagons, and then they get a sniff of it. Not all companies, but especially these big ones that people love to work at. They really don't give a fuck about you, because you literally could die, and they will put your job on the internet the next day. You know what I'm saying? And it's because it's business. It's not a family.
Yep.
Right? It's not about that stuff, but you can love the work. And I think, I couldn't date someone that doesn't understand that concept, because you could literally lose your job, and now our whole life is to shit. I've been broke before. I've been homeless before. And you know what? Honestly, it ain't that fucking bad. It sucks, but it's not worth me losing really great relationships or great people because I don't feel comfortable,
Yeah.
I was going to say something. So dating pool. So since we're on a diversity, equity, and inclusion.
Yeah. What about that pool? How deep is it? Or how fucking shallow is it?
Okay, let's get into something fun that we really don't, you and I don't think it's even on our radar really, but, I've been seeing a lot more and more of like folks exploring their dating options and getting into different dating pools, right?
Hmm.
I'm noticing a lot of women older, like say my age to their 40s, are realizing that they've been suppressing their real true feelings about being a lesbian,
Hmm.
or because their kids are grown and now they're able to express themselves, right? This new dating pool, or black women dating outside of our black community, or black, and same thing for black men. I think black men have always kind of had that a little bit,
Yeah.
but then when I think about our good folks in the queer community, it gets real sketchy.
Hmm.
With the like cultural differences and whatnot, especially when we start talking about how we all look and how we show up
Yeah.
in the world, how we present, I should say, how we present in the world, whether it's all the terms that people use. I really don't want to use them, so I won't, but all the terms people use to describe people's bodies, how they look, their height, their, all that kind of shit.
Yeah.
And so I'm wondering, you know, have you considered dating out of your normal pool of folks?
So yes, I think it's still an evolving thing.
Okay.
Um,
I'm
so,
laughing. I'm trying to
so
be,
for,
because I'm
so
gonna just say some real shit in a minute. Fuck it, I don't care.
so for the most part, when I think about dating women, I don't typically have a type.
Okay.
As long as I'm attracted to them and I can kind of like sense their energy is sense that their energy is we're all good, we're safe. Sensing that that the energy is matched up, that they're intelligent, that they have a good head on their shoulders, caring, kind, all that stuff. I don't really have a. I mean, that's a lot. I'm not gonna say I don't have a type, but like it's not as specific as I'll say as like for me and when I'm like looking at men.
Huh. That's interesting.
So when I'm looking like at men, it's just all the like the stereotypical queer man shit. Like I, it is. It. I'm listen. I'm trying to be better at this. Okay. It's the hyper masculine. It's the
Okay.
like in
Okay.
shape. It's like deeper kind of voice, more like hyper masculine presenting. I am though. Okay.
Okay.
I am slowly unlearning that because the
Okay.
person that I'm dating is like identifies as gay, and that's something that like again internalized homophobia was just like ooh, gay equals bad. So so he
Yeah.
identifies as gay, and so I'm just like oh okay, like and I still feel good, I feel comfortable,
Mm-hmm.
and so like yeah, and I mean I'm not holding on super tight. I'm still holding on, but I'm not I'm not holding on super tight to this idea of like this masculine man who like is
Yeah.
like basically
Same.
basically a straight man who identifies as queer but like that's what
Good Lord.
a lot of us want, and
The
it's just
girls are the
that is
girls are they're probably in flames right now listening to you say that.
doesn't really exist.
Kinda. I feel you. Like I'm having to get out of I'm having to get out of the like mysterious Oakland nigga trope.
Mm,
I'm literally like I'm better at it now, but I can almost pick them up out of a room. Like it is
mm,
like something I don't know, right? Um and then there's for us as women, as black women, I think you messaged me there. They're like, nigga, where are all the black women on these damn apps? I'm like, we know better.
mm.
We
You're right.
ain't on there no more. We know better. Like, And here's the thing, like I think when black women are thinking of dating outside of our race, specifically, we'll start with race, and then I'll go to the men that don't necessarily identify with hypermasculine, right?
Hmm.
It's a weird fetishizing, and even our sometimes our mentality when switching is because it's proximity to like whiteness again,
Hmm.
right? Well, black men ain't this, so I'm gonna go here instead of just, you know what, I'm gonna expand my horizon because I'm only dated these people and maybe there's something more, right? Let me expand my understanding of the world, right? And then there's this inherent fear that, oh, like when I'm talking to women about dating outside their race, oftentimes when it's outside of our race, we're thinking about white men. We're not thinking about our Asian folks, our indigenous folks, our Latinx folks. We're not even, that's not on our mind. And I don't know why. And that might, and again, white supremacy, right? So it's either you're dating a person of color or you ain't, you know, and then when you get with these people, now that's men in any of these circles that are not Black, it's the fetishizing of like, yeah, I love Black women. And it just does something to me when I hear that. Like, I get it. We're fucking fire. Okay. Let's be clear. Black women are amazing. We make the world go round, and none of y'all would be here without us.
Facts.
However, I don't want to wear that in my relationship.
Yeah.
I don't want to wear the Black woman trope. I'm a thug, but I'm a sensitive thug. I need to be sensitive with my partner. And speaking of going back to that work, like, I'm realizing that I've never asked for really what I want. You know, just existing around someone. Say that again.
You need a partner who's gonna hold space for you being a thug and for you being sensitive.
Yeah.
All the parts.
It's all the parts. And I need you to hold your people accountable. And that's for dude, that's any dude.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be me. I'm not gonna, you know, and I think that's why it's one of the reasons why I've been engaged so many times. Like it's, well, I love you so much, and here's this carrot. You're gonna change to get this. No, the fuck I'm not. As a matter of fact, I might get crazier. Like, it's just like it's the control piece of it all, right? Or trying to the you know, this the white supremacist patriarchal structure of let me find ways to silence you.
Yeah.
And I can't abide by it. And I think when I start thinking about dating outside my race, it's that shit on top of like, I'm not just dating you, I'm dating your family too, and your homeboys I gotta check, and like, you know, saying stupid shit. Like, I was somewhere the other day, do you know, I almost bit my tongue off. I was like, and in my mind, like, universe, God, spirit, whatever you believe, was like, just be quiet. Just it wasn't egregious, but it was just like, words mean things to me.
Yeah.
And it was like, yeah, I just, you know, I'm just super nice. And, you know, you seem nice. I don't go by nice. I go by kind. I'm never going to be nice. That's not who I am. Like, because it means something to say that something's nice. Yeah. It's not a real thing, but okay, whatever, right? Or like talking about women in an othering way, right? That you hear so often when you date outside of your community. And I don't even mean just race. I really mean like, or like that incel culture, where it's like, that bitch is the problem because she doesn't want to date me. No, you're a problem because you, not only do you live in your mom's basement, which isn't a problem for a lot of us,
right,
but you have a mentality like you live in your mama's basement. So what the fuck I'm gonna do with you?
Right.
You can't date. You're socially awkward. You don't take on social cues. Why would I date you? Right. And so the entitlement, even in people that don't match me in those ways, still feel entitled to me, my time, and my existence. And that's the hard part.
Yeah. There was a what you said earlier reminded me. So I was in a woman invited me to sit on a pan. We're safe.
I have a 14-year-old in my background, so just y'all know the drill.
We're safe. But she invited me to this event. Basically, there's a panel of Black men talking about like relationships, and the audience was majority Black women. And
of course
so
it was.
First, obviously, that was problematic. It's just like, okay, but all these men are going to tell women about relationships from their privileged perspective, right? So I'm like, okay. So she told me, she was like, hey, you know what? I guess she like overbooked or whatever, and so she didn't do that. I was like, okay, cool. But I still like showed up. And so there was a question that was like, you know, what do Black women need to do in order to like,
oh hell no,
to get to like date or expand something around like expanding their pool, not expand their pool, but what's the word? Expanding their like like expectations, right? Like of men.
Expanding their expectations.
Something like that.
It's
And so
trash.
all these men were just saying, oh, well, like, well, maybe you got to look at, men with, that maybe don't have a college degree, or maybe like open
I'm
your
about to hang
mind
up.
for like for men that
Yep.
do this. And
Ooh, I
like,
got a
and
fight.
there were either 3 or 4 men on that panel. And I rose my hand because as the woman that ran it, I was like, I know I'm not part of this panel, but I need to say something.
Yeah.
And it was just like, women are doing literally everything and more to accommodate all of Black men. Black men need to step up to the fucking plate. We keep having this idea that that it was what it sounds like is Black men are up here.
Yes.
And Black women have to figure their way out how to get up here. As if we're even above Black women.
No, because they want to be pet. They want congratulations for the shit you should be doing. And when you don't get it, like I hear a lot of like, Black men aren't celebrated for being dads. You should be a fucking dad if you have
Right,
kids.
right. I don't want a trophy for opening a fucking door. For flipping a light switch. It's just like, what? It's not special. And that's the thing, that I was like kind of struggling with, because I think you saw kind of the fat phobia comment.
Yeah.
And like, I apologized and I took accountability. And I got all these comments like, oh my God, thank you so much. Thank you for apologizing. Thank you for, I'm just like, what is happening right now? Like, isn't this what people do?
No.
Like, you apologize after you cause a harm, or you admit I don't understand. And so, Jesse mentioned too, like, it's definitely like the fact that you're a man plays into it as well.
Oh, and a Black man?
And a Black man definitely plays into it.
Absolutely.
And I'm just like, damn, I can't even apologize without privilege.
No.
But that speaks to a bigger issue that, like, we really as Black men need to get our shit together, need to do better.
I want y'all to give each other more space.
Yeah.
Like, it can't just be on us to give you space. It's not fair. We can't hold it for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's why people get so mad at Black women. We hold space for each other. Period. It ain't nobody we hold more space for than ourselves and other Black women. Right? Yeah. We have our things, and let's be clear. I don't want to talk about an ideal like some weird. Oh, wait, how are you on time?
I have probably like 15 minutes.
Okay, so we'll wrap this up in like 5. But I think it's so imperative. Like, I want y'all to have space. I want you to hold space for each other, because we can't do it for you. It's the same model of, we cannot create spaces for white folks.
Yep.
You guys have to do the work. And the same thing with us. Now, like I said earlier about women dating bisexual men, like, that's some of the work that we got to do, because we too have internalized a lot of shit and then put it out in the world like it's fact, and it's not. Now, it protected us at some point. I get it. But we all could do better if we started having more conversations around that. But
yeah. And that's
anyway, continue.
No, I was going to say that's part of the reason why I started my group for Black men. Was that like something we need to do better? Something needs to be done. And like, if there's not going to be a celebrity that's going to like really be like, hey, Black men, get our shit together, I'm going to do what I can.
There are never going to be no Black male celebrity telling us that, because they too are benefiting from a very patriarchal capitalist society. Absolutely. And they still are out here in these streets doing dirt, and then they expect other people to do it. And the niggas that aren't doing that don't want to lose the bag to come and speak out or be that person. But I think moreover, you just don't know how. Yeah. That's not for us to do. And we can even expand that to just men and women in general, or the privilege of men. Like, I've been teaching my son that, like, even as a gay boy, don't overtalk me, son. I'm still a woman, and you have a privilege, and I need you to recognize that. Right. So when you get older and you leave this house, you give space for people to speak. That's not just me as a woman. That's literally, as a human being, you need to be doing that. Yep. But as he's growing and being in school, and he's allowed to be that way and puff his chest out and kind of take over a situation. Yeah. Skirt. Nope. Yeah. I don't need to demean you to do it, right? I don't need to be like, you ain't shit, so don't ever talk to me. No. So listen, let me tell you something. I'm going to need you to stop and think. I need you to listen to listen, not listen to respond.
Mm-hmm.
Everything does not mean, and so it's even like little things that I do, like when it's time for us to have a conversation, I will ask a question. I don't ask questions that I don't want the answer to. Right. And I really drive that home because I don't need you to mansplain me.
Mm-hmm.
But when you talk about the other parent, that's what they do.
Mm.
So, and again, that this isn't shading Andrea's baby daddy time. I don't mean that. I just really mean that's how insidious it is for us to not address that type of behavior.
Yeah.
To feeling entitled to other people.
Mm-hmm.
We see it all the time in the queer community where folks feel okay taking on black woman culture, but not treating black women with the respect that we deserve. Because again, like I said, we birthed all of y'all.
Yep.
All of y'all. And have provided space, support, community for everybody, even our crazy ass white folks.
Mm-hmm.
We love y'all too, but still, everybody needs to get it together. And again, not saying black women don't have our shit, because that's not true. Right. I'm just saying, in the context of this, we could be better, and the conversation's hard because it feels blamey.
Yeah.
But the fact is, we all got to do some work. Yeah. And I'm just not willing to accept that black women need to navigate any more spaces to be appealing to anybody.
Right.
You need to come where we are. We all need to come to where each other are, see if it works, and if it don't, move the fuck on. But stop comparing. Everything's in proximity to whiteness. Why? Mm-hmm. Even dating outside of our race. Oh, I'm gonna just go date a white man. Okay, but like, there's also Latinx men. There's the whole spectrum of Asian folks. Like, we got Pacific Islander, we got folks from the Middle East, we got Chinese folks, Japanese folks, like Filipino people. Like, there's a whole spectrum of people that we're overlooking.
Yep.
And even if you go to that, like how those men are represented to us is even worse in the Asian community. And I know some fine ass Asian men. You hear me? Fine.
Come on. But I mean, I was leading a workshop. I was doing something with some people, but we talked about colorism, and there was a mixed race woman, and she was like, "Yeah, my grandmother said that, your light skin isn't a privilege; it's a responsibility." And I said, "Damn." And so, like, in that same way, for men, our sexuality, I mean, our biological sex and our gender expression, gender identity is a responsibility. For me, being a bisexual man, masculine presenting, on the spectrum of queerness, I'm at the tippity top.
Come on, tippity top.
That's a responsibility, because I can fully have a girlfriend, I can fully have a wife, and no one's going to question my sexuality.
Not once.
Right? For the most part, I think I'm masculine presenting enough that, like, people probably aren't going to question me immediately.
Nope.
Unless they see my fancy nails. You see them? Yeah.
I did see that. Ever since the Reed put you on their little Instagram, you ain't been right since.
Listen, I texted Crystal the other day.
First name basis, all that shit.
Me and Fury having lunch, next week. None of these things are true. It's not happening at all.
You dropped a whole bunch of names. You might want to pick those up.
Yeah, but I dropped them, but they ain't mine. They don't belong to me. But when we have these privileged identities, like parts of ourselves, it's our responsibility to help folks that are experiencing harm. Right. And so that means for Black men, we need to be not just saying protect Black women, not just, hashtagging uplift Black women, but actually fucking doing it.
I had the most terrible experience with a friend that I have been friends with for so long and did not realize what was going on in their relationships with women. And to find out, it broke my heart, because that is not who I want to associate with. But exactly what you just said. Oh, you talk a good game. But when it really comes down to it, you leveraging that shit behind closed doors, right? You are taking advantage in the ways that you would with someone with privilege. and you put on a good front. Now we can label it all the things, right? We know the words, abuser, all fine. But the truth is, that's where that comes from, that entitlement to someone.
Yeah.
And not feeling like you don't have to answer to anybody. And that's why I say y'all have to hold space for yourselves to hold each other accountable. Because while that person was outwardly, when this one person made a decision, left the other person's online, I mean, just dragging, and people kikiing and all sorts of type of shit. And it's like, shouldn't y'all be holding this nigga accountable? Not one of his friends, not one. It was only me.
Damn.
And I was like, me and you can't be cool no more, right? Because you are not like this. I don't know what this is. And like I said, it breaks my heart. But that is at the core. So you can't just say it. You got to listen to Black women when they say you don't support us. Because we know that in corporate spaces, you support us. But when it's time to speak up for us, y'all shut the fuck up, just like white women in the room. As a matter of fact, you'll speak up before a white woman before you speak up for us. But again, proximity to whiteness and that entitlement, that privilege that you have. And that's why it's so important to do that. And I don't mean to just trash Black men, because that's not what I'm trying to do. I love Black men, just like any other man that I might date. But we all have a responsibility to hold each other accountable. So that's a whole nother podcast, okay? Okay, got a couple quick questions. 2 more minutes. If you could describe... If you could describe optimum dating in 3 words, what would it be?
Ooh. Communication.
Okay.
Laughter. And authenticity.
Love that. I would have thrown money in there somewhere, but that's fine.
Wait, we ain't talking about long-term dating. I thought you were speaking to just dating in general. If we talking about, I'm gonna need some more words. If we're talking about,
you're fine. What is your parting advice to folks looking to date, looking to change who they're dating, even especially for those of us that continue to date the same person, just in different skin?
Yeah.
What would your parting advice be?
Know yourself. And not just know what kind of person you're attracted to. Know what makes you tick. Know what you need in a relationship. If you are, know your love languages. If you need physical touch, then you need to know that. Because if your person that you're looking for is not a physical touch person, then you may not be compatible. Know what your wants and your needs are from a partner. Have a list of non-negotiables. Have a list of things that's like, listen, it is not going to work if these however many things aren't part of who you are. And these aren't things like make hella money or, got the nice shoes or something like that. It's like, if someone is, for me, it's emotionally unavailable. If someone's emotionally unavailable, it's just not going to work, because I'm not going to be because I'm going to be saying how I feel about shit. And if you just going to be like, okay, and then that's it, it's not going to work.
I fucking hate that shit.
It's not going to work. So I forget what I just said, but non-negotiables, knowing what you want, knowing yourself.
Yeah. And then there's another question I ask, and I lost my fucking my other notebook. Listen, I have like 35 notebooks. How are you taking care of yourself as a person taking care of other folks?
Yeah, that's a great question. I am going to therapy, like I mentioned, every week. I just got back from the gym, and so that for me is such a good stress relief. Especially, this line of work is listening to people's traumas and problems and stuff like that. So I need just a space where I can just zone out, listen to music, and get my body involved. Going outside, I mean, it's hot as shit right now in Philly, but still, I'll even go on
I need to hurry up and come, because the minute it gets cold, I will not be around.
Oh no,
I will change my flight. Okay.
You got some time. It's about to be hot.
Okay, cool. Go.
And just community. right? Like
Okay.
leaning into my community. It felt so good. My friend Josh from Melanated Social Work was here. His partner was out here. We met up with some folks from Radical Therapy Center, and just like it was just a love fest. Like like it was just so great to be in community with my people, and then having my friends from one group meet another group, and like everybody just like meshing and like vibing together. It just the energy was so fantastic. So
Love that.
leaning into
Love
your
that.
community, like getting some of that good energy too.
Awesome. And then lastly, we talked a lot about community holding space for other Black men. If you're a
Mhm.
Black man, if the Black man's listening to this and is like, haven't been accountable to their friends or family or whoever that identify in that peer group, what do you suggest they do to start trying to hold
Ooh.
each other accountable? Because there's just so much information out, right? We could Google some shit and
Yeah.
you'd be a hotep or a Catholic priest. Like it all is different. But where do people start? Or men in particular start?
There's so many resources out there, just like you just named. You can Google some things. You can, I mean, this is a plug, but kind of not. Like you can
Plug
follow
away, please.
Melanated Social Work on Instagram. You can follow me on Instagram, mtoliver_LCSW. And I think someone said to me a long time ago that vulnerability unlocks relationships. And so when you're vulnerable with another one of your homies, your family members, friends, whoever, there's a good chance that they're probably going to open up too. It's just a
Mm,
human thing, right?
mm,
And
mhm.
so I think it may start there. Get yourself a therapist. Like cut the stigma out. Like you're not crazy. You're not. There's nothing wrong with you. It's
Yeah.
actually a majority of people who are going to therapy. If you listen to them, they say that they come out so much happier and so much better on the other side. So like yes, there may be some experiences where that's not the case, but for the most part, you hear a lot of transformational shit happening. And so, like, take that step. Um,
Mm,
reflect on what you're so afraid of.
good.
Take
Well,
that
thank
step.
you, Marvin. I appreciate you. We could talk
Appreciate you.
forever. Maybe we'll start our podcast again. You know what
You
I mean?
know,
Just
this
get
was
some
this was nice. This
I
was
mean, we talked
nice.
about it briefly last week.
We
Like, I'm
did.
ready to get back started, but not today. Just like some point. We'll talk. We'll talk. I'll have my people call your people.
My team will have you. So
For
yeah.
sure. And that is going to wrap up this episode of Discusshit. Thank you guys so much for listening. If you have any questions or you need resources in this area, feel free to reach out to me or reach out to Marvin. He's always great with just directing people to the right folks. So am I. I'm a huge connector. And get some damn rest, y'all. Stop
Yeah.
working yourself to the ground. Get some
Hmm.
rest. Rest don't just mean sleep. It really means resting your mind, getting yourself together, and showing up for yourself. So
Yeah.
love y'all. See y'all later. Bye.